Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, check. Alright, give it another minute or so for a couple more people to show up, and then we'll get started. Not quite Game Boy, it's still, it's Kirby Superstar. But, you know, we're going back. We're going back 3 years ago, so the very early beginnings of Retro Drew. Feel like we needed some Kirby music to start the stream off right. Alright, well, my clock says 8 o'clock. Let's get this started. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody is doing well. And we are here for the 3-year anniversary live stream for Retro Drew. And I really can't believe it's only been 3 years. It honestly kind of feels like it's been closer to 5. It's crazy. But we're here to have a good time. I'm going to be playing through a handful of games. Music's going to cut out here for a second. Get rid of the text. Actually have the game on screen. Alright. Baby steps. Baby steps. Gotta remember not to not to start playing the games before I switch it back over onto stream. I keep doing that. I'm so bad at remembering that. It's terrible. I even have an alarm set today to remind me that I need to put the game up on screen. Oh, Kirby looked like he was snoozing there for a second. Anyways, yeah, we're here for 3 years of Retro Drew. And just kind of hang out, play a bunch of games I've already reviewed and talked about for fun. And I'm just going to kind of spiel on about the channel and kind of how it came to be and why I'm here, basically. But yeah, let's play a little bit of this. This technically qualifies. I didn't quite give it a review, but I did talk about it in a Dare to Compare episode. And you know, gotta love some Kirby. Can't go wrong. Oh no. Yeah, I talked about this one in a Dare to Compare episode where I compared it to the original game and how they like really truncated this version into Kirby Superstar. A lot of fun. I forget you can't... Oh god, it's been a hot minute since I've played some Kirby. Forgot you can't quite just jump onto people's heads. But yeah, I'm gonna play like 10 to 15 minutes of this, and then we'll get into the real showstopper. Oh, what the... Oh, I forgot you can do that in this version. I'm not used to this version of Kirby where you can have, I guess, minions. Yeah, give me that fruit. Oh my. It looks like Kirby's kissing him when he does that. The stream. Officially confirmed not safe for work. Hi, Joe Kids. Can I eat the bear? I can. I think we've got to play this so I can at least hear my my theme song play out. And then we'll get down to business. The business! This Bomb D's gonna do the entire job for me. Why am I even here? See? Demonetized indeed. And there we have it. We can officially begin the stream as Retro Drew. Oh, hold on. We gotta hear some Float Islands music. God, I love this song. Oh, man. The Kirby soundtrack is flawless in nearly every game. It's so good. Ah, stop doing that, Kirby. I think the secret's still over here. Yep. Whoa. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, because I've got some sort of power-up. Alright. Grab a sip of my beer. And, yeah. I hope everybody... Or I'm glad everybody has been enjoying, the pickups video I just put out. I honestly didn't expect it to be quite as popular as it has been. So I'm glad you all are enjoying it. I want to say 2 more filmed. They just need to be edited. And I got more games coming in, so looks like there will probably be another 2 or 3 episodes in the future. Kind of trying to use them as like supplementary material in between reviews. And yeah, the funny thing is that, yeah, that's exactly what they were supposed to be. Videos that are a little easier to produce than reviews, so that I can have like content twice a month. And honestly, I want to say they take almost more time to produce, because I got to go through and play a little bit and capture footage of all these different games. So it didn't quite work out how I wanted to. I'm really just trying to figure out some way to make some lazier content in between the good stuff, but it seems that is never gonna happen. But it's okay. I liked making the pickups videos. They're fun. And I've got a couple more other like side quest style videos, like themed videos, kind of like the bad games I love. I've got a couple of those that are going to be edited like the bad games I love, and then a couple more that I think are going to be closer to the video game pickup style, where I just ramble in front of a camera and splice in footage here and there. But we'll see. We will see. That's all still kind of on the horizon. And I'm sticking with SNES games tonight. Not just because I think I complained about this last week, but RetroArch is a pain in the ass when it comes to mapping controls. So they have a save feature where you can save your remaps for different systems, but I can never get it to work. I'll save a file, load the remap file, and it never works. It's a pain in the ass. As somebody who is a predominant Mac user, where I have OpenEMU, and it's the best emulation, it's the best multiple emulation system out there. Going from that to RetroArch has been a pain. So we're sticking with all SNES tonight, but, you know, that's fine, since that's mostly what I'm known for. Give me your power-up back. Or I'll just get rid of it. Because I suck at video games. Damn. This soundtrack's so good. I think I do prefer the Game Boy version of this song. But just barely. I think it's got a little bit more punch in the Game Boy version. I think this is the only time you see the microphone in the game. And I'm just going to use... Oh, what the fuck? Well, never mind. I was going to say, I'm just going to use it so we can see the awesome... see what awesome transformation Kirby gets. And I fucked it up. I done goofed. Whoa! Oh no! Yeah, get out of my face. These little Meta Knights. Alright, Kirby Smash! Actually, let's see how well this works out for this fight. Probably not well at all. Nope. Hold on, I'm gonna make a real quick adjustment before I move on. Just so I can make my life reading comments a little easier. Alright. Oh, really? Kirby was your first game ever? That's pretty awesome. I think it is on record on my channel that Castlevania 3 was the first game I ever played. Or at least the first one I can remember playing. But Kirby's a great game to start with. I mean, it lived up to its intended purpose there as a kid's game. It's funny, I didn't really grow up playing a lot of Kirby. I just kind of happened, I got into it like early on when I started collecting for the Game Boy. At least the original Game Boy. And I was like, well, I guess I should start with the first one. I absolutely fell in love with the game. Now, yeah, I really have a soft spot for the first one, even though it is so different and probably considered lackluster compared to the rest of the series. But I will admit that Kirby Superstar is not far behind the original Kirby. Kirby's got to do his little tumble there. I want to say you go down this hall and you can get a ton of different power-ups. There we go. Get out of here, you chump. Let's go catch that cameo in the corner. Yeah, Mario and crew. King DDD is a pushover in this version. Like, I mean, the original Kirby game was already easy, and this version is just... Like, what is the opposite of steroids? Because that is what this game is on. Which I know, it's kind of just supposed to be a quick, nice little thing here. Alright, let's enjoy this music real quick. To the end theme. While I drink some beer. Great song. Alright. So I think that'll probably do it for Kirby. Let's see what else. Chat, if you want to vote on a couple games, let's throw some suggestions out here for, do you want to see Gourmet Sentai Barriado, SD F1 Grand Prix, or Wagon Paradise? Which one of those three do y'all want to see first? Because I will play whatever you suggest next. That's a satisfying clicking sound. But yeah, decide on what we want to see next, and I'll load that up and get started with some story time. Alright, so 1 for Gourmet Sentai Barayato. Give us another second, see if anybody else watching wants to join in and chat. Interesting. Part of the backbeat for this song is like a metronome. For those of you who don't know what a metronome is or don't know much about music, that's what keeps time and rhythm. That is what you follow to keep in time when you play a song. Alright, just do the first one it is. Alright, I'll get that loaded up here in a second. Yeah, everything's gonna cut out. Go load some content. I gotta browse through my fucking massive SNES library. But Gourmet Sentai Barrio right here. Yeah, let's go with the English patch, which I didn't play any of for my review. 20x. Oh, okay. Well, maybe the English patch isn't gonna work at all, or maybe it's just translated for the cooking sections. Let's see, what are my options here again? Incomprehensible, that's what they are. I think this is, like, difficulty. I'm gonna leave it on what it was. Let's go with Madame. Madame. Alright, well then let's, kick off into story time, because I'm going to talk about kind of some channels that really inspired me to make Retro Drew. And it goes back a really long time, and I've talked about this in my Gaming Origins episode, that like many people, I was heavily inspired by the Anger Video Game Nerd. Because, I mean, you know, he was one of the first big, probably the first big gaming channel on YouTube. And the bigger epiphany for me when his channel came out was that there were other people who still played retro games. And I think I've said it again before in the Gaming Origins episode that I grew up playing my dad's NES, and I only had his small little collection at my disposal. And when I found the Angry Video Game Nerd, it really was like, oh, wow, look, people still play retro games. Or, you know, people play these games other than me, because as a kid, your worldview is kind of small. And people want to talk about these games and maybe how bad they are, how good they are, and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, that was a real eye-opener for me. And him and a couple other channels really made me go on to make my first YouTube channel. But not long after finding out about the Angry Video Game Nerd, I stumbled upon another channel I've talked about multiple times on the channel, and that is, oh, awesome, I got the double now. And that is, the Happy Console Gamer. I absolutely love his content's great. I just love the way I think what I really enjoyed were the stories, of course, because Johnny is just a good storyteller, but also the fact that he would talk about more obscure series and consoles like the PC Engine. I mean, I think prior to his channel, I didn't know what the hell a PC Engine was. I mean, I knew what like a Genesis and a Super Nintendo were, but as somebody who was very young in the 90s, I didn't know what a PC Engine was. Nobody ever talked about that in my generation. And learning about stuff like Ease and having somebody that was really into RPGs kind of sell me on the genre, because I've never been big on RPGs. They're games that I think require a lot more attention than I have, and I can usually, you know, do about 10 to 12 hours of an RPG before I'm like, oh, damn, I hate having to grind. Oh, I hate having to do this. Like, I enjoy RPGs, I enjoy the story, and I enjoy some of the combat, but holy hell, having to grind and and stuff like that really is not for someone like myself. An action RPG suits me better, and platformers and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the way that RPGs are fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the genre. It's more of a personal thing for me, where my attention span is just not quite there enough for me to get through most RPGs, which is a real shame. I try and at least get through 1 or 2 big RPGs a year. And last year it was Seiken Densetsu 3 and Ys 5. And this year I think it's going to be Grandia and... I don't know, Grandia and probably something else. Something that has yet to be decided. Leave me suggestions. As long as it's not Chrono Trigger. I can't stand Chrono Trigger. But yeah, I liked Johnny because, yeah, he talked about a lot of weird consoles, a lot of the stuff he loved, and, like, Sega CD, like, you know, prior to finding his channel, I really only heard AVGN talk shit about the Sega CD, and then Johnny comes along and says, well, you know, there's actually some really good games for it, like Lunar, and a couple other that I surely can't think of right now. Oh, Mansion of Hidden Souls is a pretty good one. And other stuff like that. I actually have heard good things about Chrono Cross. Am I missing out if I on anything important by not playing Chrono Trigger before Chrono Cross? I love the sound effects that this boss makes. It sounds like the actress like took a handful of Xanax before she went into the booth. Yeah, get the fuck out. Uh-oh. And then, not long after finding Happy Video Game Nerd, Happy Console Gamer, we'll get to Happy Video Game Nerd. He introduced me to Kid Shoryuken, who's, of course, friend of the channel now, which is awesome. And I think what I really love... Okay, let's do this cooking session. You know, put some shrooms in there, yeah. We'll see how well this does. Let's see if Gordon Ramsay here approves. Okay, just salad salad. Plus 28, I'll take it. But he introduced me to Kid Shoryuken. And what I loved about him is that his channel exclusively talked about, you know, like weird import games. Actually, I don't know if he was doing import game of the day when I first found him. He might have just been doing the Shore Reviewkin. Oh, good, another clone. But yeah, he was talking about a lot of Japanese games that I found interesting. And between his channel and I've talked about these before, about those like 10 Super Famicom games or 100 Super Famicom games in 10-minute videos. Between Kid Shoryuken and those videos, that's kind of what really got me into like import games and really made me want to learn more. And yeah, so it was really just kind of me learning about these different facets of gaming that I would soon fall trapped to. You can just walk over those little dudes, which I think is funny. Pull some big brain moves. If I can grab this guy. Oh, get off me! And yeah, I really liked Kid Shoryuken's channel. And I want to say... Let's see. This was definitely more down the line when I discovered Jimmy Hoppa's channel, but he was a huge influence later on when I was really serious about, okay, I want to make a channel. I want to make a new channel and do it right this time. Jimmy Hoppa was heavily referenced in terms of like how I wanted to present a review and do a review. And as a matter of fact, between him and the Happy Video Game Nerd, I like did like a breakdown of how their videos were like structured. So what to talk about first or what to talk about here and there. So, all right, start the game off with a nice introduction, then talk about how it was released, what console, then talk about gameplay, controls, graphics, music. I made like a document, I still have it, and it was based off of Jimmy Hoppa's Sailor Moon's video games episode and a Game Quickie episode of the Happy Video Game Nerd. And I still kind of use that blueprint for reviews to this day, which is funny. But yeah, I really loved Jimmy's channel because once again, he was talking about interesting import games and a lot for like the PlayStation and Saturn, which were two consoles. You know, the Saturn I hadn't really spent a lot of time with, but I grew up with a PlayStation to a certain capacity. But he was talking about, you know, interesting PlayStation games we never got over here. Again, a lot of like RPGs and maybe weird fighting games. Alright, I pulled off one of the super moves. And yeah, that again just kind of dug me deeper into the hole that is import games. And then lastly, I have to say the most important influence on this channel was, of course, the Happy Video Game Nerd. I mean, not long after finding out about Happy Console Gamer and the Angry Video Game Nerd, I stumbled upon the Happy Video Game Nerd. And what really sold me was oh, people, you know, the AVGN talks about games that, you know, you don't want to play. Anything he plays, you're like, all right, cool, I want to steer clear of that. And then the Happy Video Game Nerd was the first channel I encountered, besides Happy Console Gamer, that was like, hey, this is a game that nobody seems to talk about that you should definitely be playing. And that was like a big moment for me where I went, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do for my YouTube channel. And that was my original embarrassing YouTube channel that, who knows, maybe if I get to 5 years, I'll reveal and we'll go take a deep dive into that channel. But as of now, it's going to remain in the shadows. Also, I should really pay attention because this boss fight is hard. But yeah, he was talking about games that nobody was really talking about and that, you know, you should be playing, and that was what was really important. I was like, oh good, now I have other games I can go try that I know aren't going to be garbage. Alright, I'll give this one more shot for this boss, and then we'll switch over to, I think SDF1 Grand Prix is a pretty good game to do next. Playing like a fucking amateur over here. Excuse me. But yes, the recommendations, the good games he was talking about, that was very important. And God, I think I found him, I think he came on to YouTube in 2007. And I think the first episode of his I saw was right when, the Splatterhouse review, right when that dropped. Or Splatterhouse 2 review, right when that dropped. So I've been big fans of them for a long time, and I'm so glad that they're still doing content, and I love Stop Skeletons from Fighting, but I must admit that I will forever love the Happy Video Game Nerd portion of their channel more than Stop Skeletons from Fighting. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia there, but I preferred the games and stuff Derek was talking about than he does now. While it's still very interesting, I miss the more single video game retro focus of the channel. But again, they still make great content. I still support them. Love them to death. Great people, great channel. Yeah, they are. Derek and Grace are such nice people. I'm not shocked that Infinite, that your channel is also inspired by. I did. I knew that he debuted on Game Trailers by winning the Be Like the Nerd contest, and he nailed it. But yeah, I'm not inspired. I'm not shocked that your channel is inspired by them, because much like my channel, you kind of format your videos in the same way that the Happy Video Game Nerd and Angry Video Game Nerd did theirs. You know, as did a lot of people. Unfortunately, it seems that like the review scene on YouTube has kind of, I mean, it still exists to a good capacity, but I think it's kind of taken a backseat to live streaming, ironically. So live streaming and other kind of content stuff. I mean, there are channels still keeping it alive, like Nitro Rad and, you know, obviously You Infinite and Kid Shoryuken and Scott the Waz and myself and Jimmy Hoppa. But yeah, those were all channels that really inspired me to go, you know, this is the kind of content I want to be making on YouTube. This is the kind of stuff I want to do. And I guess you know, I'll mention a channel I meant to talk about briefly. I guess kind of, I don't know, warning. I'm going to talk about a semi-controversial YouTube channel real quick. And that is Jewario. And now I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I was never a huge fan of his. Like, pre-controversy and everything, I was never a huge fan of his. I'd seen a couple of videos. I think after seeing the... I'm going to switch over games. After seeing the episode... the Angry Video Game episode on Back to the Future games, where James talks about the Super Back to the Future 2 Super Famicom game, I want to say I searched to learn more about it and found Jewario's review. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool, and all that stuff. I'll talk about Nostalgia Cricket in a second, but yeah, so I saw a couple more of Jewario's videos, and the one that really sticks out to me is the Rama 1/2 games video, because that was my introductory to Rama 1/2, which is one of my favorite animes of all time. But it was also my introduction to a handful of really good Rama games. But the thing with Jewario's channel is that I never really found the games he reviewed very interesting. They weren't quite up my alley like Kid Shoryuken's picks were. So I don't think I was even ever subscribed to the guy. But what I really did like about his channel was the idea of it. That he was like, that you can play this. Games you can play that you don't need to know Japanese. Or, you know, games you don't need to know Japanese to play. And I guess kind of subconsciously lifted that idea from his show. So yeah, there's a little bit of controversial origins to this channel. Alright, we want to do one player. For a second I thought it threw me straight into the game, and I was like, wait a minute, where are my options at? But yeah, Nostalgia Critic, I think like most people, because I was young and dumb when I first found Nostalgia Critic, I was like, haha, he's funny, this is a good show. And man, took a hard nosedive once he left, and then tried to come back, and then started introducing a lot more skits and shit like that. He just never made a good return. And then after all of this change the channel controversy and stuff happened, I've had no desire to go back and watch stuff. I'll occasionally go and watch an old episode and be like, hey, this still kind of holds up, but you know, it's not exactly what I would consider, like, you know, good content. It's okay content. Like, you go back and you watch those old episodes of AVGN, and you can, you know, those episodes hold up. They hold up really well. Mayo Rice, this is SD F1 Grand Prix. If you want to know more about it, I have a review of it on the channel. This is the best Mario Kart spin-off that you will find on the console. Yeah, if you want to hear me rant and rave about how great this game is, go check out that review, because honestly, of the Mario Kart ripoff series that I did, I think this is the least viewed episode, and it's the best of the 3 games I covered. Battle Racers being a close second. Oh man, trying to talk and drive is tougher than I imagined. You know, it'd be better if I was like actually good at video games, but instead I'm me. I'm Retro Drew, and you know, I suck. Also, maybe I just picked the hardest cup, because I remember this starting off with a much easier. Wait a second. I'm going to reset this because I just realized that I'm racing in a qualifying match. I am also I am distracted driving and I'm also drinking and driving. So, you know, stay safe, kids. But my girlfriend can't play games. Good to have you on. Mario Kart. Cat's Run. Yeah, I think it might even be you, Mellow Gaming, who mentioned Cat's Run to me on a video not too long ago. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else who did. And, yeah, we want the crash race mode. I don't know what I was thinking. Cat's Run. I have played very little of it. Probably 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Since I'm based out of the U.S., we're going to start over here. Or at least I think that's the U.S. These are very truncated versions of the States. And I can't read Japanese to see if it is, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me fit into the stereotype of dumb American real quick. I don't have monies, so... But, yeah, Cat's Run. I have not played a ton of it. It's been a couple of years. I know that Jimmy Hoppa has a big old video on it. So that has kind of deterred me from making it a priority review. I have other games that other people haven't talked about quite yet that I think, you know, deserve a little bit of spotlight that I'm going to get to first before I start covering the more well-known Japanese imports. Like King of Demons and, shoot, I can't even remember what that game's called, but it's the sequel to Milon's Secret Castle. I think it's like Milon's Adventure. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get around to talking about Cat's Run at some point. Completely lost track of what topic I was even talking about prior to talking about what game I'm playing and driving and all this shit. I know I was talking about gaming, or the channel's origins, but I think I kind of wrapped that spiel up. So, but yeah, this is a really, really good game. And it plays a little different than Mario Kart, but I think the controls are far easier for newcomers. You don't have to rely so much on drifting and stuff like that. Oh yeah, my girlfriend, I'm just gonna call you, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna call you my girlfriend. No. My girlfriend can't play games. Old channel. I was talking a bit about my embarrassing old channel that still exists. That I will at some point, I'm sure, reveal, but not this year, not today. And I was just talking about other channels that were inspiring this current one. And yeah, covering other games that reviewers have covered. Excuse me. Is definitely a sore spot. I love SNES Drunk to death. I really do. But that dude has covered a ton of games. Mazosh for short. There we go. But SNES Drunk has covered a ton of games that I've either like been writing a script for and then he puts out his video, or let's update my drift. Or he will oh, I can't update anything, that's why. Or he'll talk about games that I really want to talk about but haven't gotten to it yet. So it's like, ah, shit. I have probably, I think, 1 or 2 reviews that I have finished he has accidentally covered this year. And I'm like, ah, damn. And I'll talk more kind of about stuff like that a little later in the show when I get to the, when I start breaking down my favorite reviews on the channel. Because I think I'm gonna make that like an ongoing yearly thing. Top 5 favorite reviews on the channel and see how it changes each year. See if anything knocks everything else out. But also, I will admit that I'm not entirely discouraged when other people cover games that I want to talk about, because, you know, we might not always have the same opinions on the game, and my view could be very different, or I could point out different things that another reviewer maybe doesn't talk about. For example, I know Kid Shoryuken had done a review on oh shit, I just almost took myself out with my own weapon. Kid Shoryuken talked about Ghost Super Mikami way before I did. And I went super in depth onto every conceivable reason I could think why that game is amazing in that review. And no offense to Jim, but I think I might have surpassed him with that video. But I mean, that was like, yeah. I mean, hell, I think that is still, to this day, my longest review. Sitting in like 12 minutes. I agree. It's my approach that matters. Best friend is a self-proclaimed clone. You can't get away from Alex in 2 videos a week. Yeah. I have reviews ready to go. What's that feel like? It's really nice. That's why I really love having the shorter format. Let's go with no. I'll save it. I was gonna update my drift, but I want that high grip for later levels. Yeah, that's why I love the shorter format, is that, you know, alright, 4 to 5 minutes I can do. My reviews are typically 3 or 4 paragraphs. And, yeah, so it's like, alright, great, I can knock a script out. If I'm, you know, if I'm in the zone, I can knock a script out in, or at least the majority of a script out in about an afternoon, maybe an evening, and then go back the next day and kind of fix up things here and there and all that stuff. Yeah, and it's made, especially with coronavirus, taking away a lot of work hours from me this year. I've had a lot more free time to focus on the channel, so I am months ahead in terms of content, and it feels really great, because as it used to be, it was like, alright, shit, I've got to get this review done by the end of the month, so it comes out on time. And now it's like, oh, good, I am like 4 months out. It's like, oh, it's great. I can take a break from making content and nobody would know the difference. But thankfully, I love doing this stuff, so I haven't done that yet. I've just maintained staying on top of things, really on top of things. Oh, man, that slowed the game down really bad. Whoa. I have never seen this happen in this game before. That was crazy. Chat, I will look at you in a minute. I gotta attempt to outrun this dude. And, it's not going well. Oh, I missed the... Oh, because I have something. I was like, well, how did I miss that star? I really needed that. Alright, let me waste that missile entirely and throw it at the wall. Jesus. Ah, fuck. Oh, man, I'm wet in the bed right now. Yeah, that was not a... Alright, let's see. Let's see. 35 minutes. Yeah, see, I can't imagine doing that. I do have a Super Mario Sunshine video planned that is, right now, I think, sitting at like 16 minutes. I just haven't wanted to start editing it yet just because of how long it is. So I sort of feel on that one infinite. I tend to pick all the B tier games that no one cares about that when I cover a single game. Last year reviews weren't like that though. I feel that. I've been holding back on a few on a few of the bigger titles for the bigger unknown titles for the Super Famicom that I could review. Just because I want to spread them out. You know, I don't want to blow my load early on. And there's like, you know, there's a ton of B tier games that are pretty good, that are good but not great. And that's what I've been dipping into a lot lately. But again, there's still games that I think are worth talking about and worth shining some light on. Some are more expensive than others. Some are still relatively cheap. Yeah, I gotta focus again, so... This is not a good game to play while I'm trying to read chat. This was a mistake. I'll race through this and then switch over to something that's a little easier to play. I'll switch over to Wagon Paradise after this, because that game is redonkulous easy. We'll play, like, probably the first 2-3 stages of that before we get to the point where I have to start guessing Japanese characters and give up. God, I wish this game played more music in this while the races were happening. It really is weird to just hear, like, engine noises and announcers. Ooh! What happened? I hit the jump pads. Ouch. I'm making this game look really bad right now, but trust me, this game is fantastic. What just... Oh my god. This game is treating me like I'm playing Mario Kart 64 or something. Again, alright. Alright, note for future Retro Drew streams, maybe don't play racing games, because they require a lot of focus. Although, you know what, I would definitely play some F-Zero on stream, just because F-Zero is the best. Look at that, alright. Yeah, look at that. Ugh. Alright, I'm gonna switch over to Wagon Paradise, but let me at least read some of this stuff here. Stage is making me think, I think of the tunnels in Ridge Racer. I haven't played a lot of Ridge Racer, but I'll take your word for it. Damn, 10 hours. See, that's something I don't miss about making longer videos, yeah, like 10 hours of editing. And even in something as simple like iMovie, yeah, I want to say the Ghost Super Mikami episode probably took about that much time. Oh, let's see here. But yeah, you know, I gotta commend the work ethic of 10 hours of editing. Good on you, man. But yeah, that's what's great. I mean, for me, I maybe spend 3 hours tops editing a video now. With the shorter scripts, it really works out well. Yeah, I don't tend to cover a lot of RPGs, partially for that reason, but I also talked about earlier how I'm not big into RPGs. They require a lot of attention that I don't have, thanks to ADHD. Oh my god, 50-minute Disgaea video. I can't believe that. Yeah, the conversational discussion stuff, like rambling in front of a camera like I did for my pickups video, is definitely easier. But when but you know, I mean, still, it's easier to put the I don't know, it's easier in some ways, but not easier in others, because you are having to you're having to play through a lot of games and stuff like that. All right, let's go find Wagon Paradise way down at the bottom. Somebody's talking about Cats Run right there. I have it. It's in the library. Here we go. This, I think this was like the 6th review I ever did. Something like that. And I have to, well, it's not in my top 5 favorites. This is still a favorite of mine. Just because, yeah, this is, yeah, one of those games where not a lot of people had talked about it prior to my little review. And I want to say afterwards, I want to say SNES Drunk has now covered it. So now a lot of people know about it. But I think prior to my review, the only other person who had really talked about this game was, oh god, what is that channel called? They've been around forever. Been around forever talking about video games, and I just can't remember what they're called, and they cover a ton of stuff. Oh, Video Game Undertow, I think. I want to chill out and listen to this song. It's great. SNES Drunk covered it is the new Simpsons did it. It's really true. That is fairly true for my channel, who kind of sits in the shadow of SNES Drunk. I've beat him a couple of times here and there, but no, it's not a competition. I love the guy and I love his reviews. I'm very glad that he is shedding light on a lot of other games that I probably would not get around to, like a lot of the RPGs. But I think that probably will change up here sooner or later, because not that I'm down to slim pickings. I probably still have a good 60 to 70 games I can cover for the SNES. It is, I've almost entirely discovered all of the games really worth playing on the SNES. I've kind of whittled the library down to its end. And I think once I'm not done covering SNES games, because I don't think that'll ever really happen, because I mean, I do cover Saturn from time to time, even though I haven't done that in forever now. I think I'm going to cover a couple PC Engine games sometime in the future here, because I'm fascinated by the PC Engine. It's a console I've always really wanted to get into, and with the release of the PC Engine Mini, that was a really good way for me to get my feet wet with the console. I have not played Troddlers on the SNES. The Watawari Supervision. Actually, I do have, and you know what, besides from just covering obscure games, I want to eventually get around to covering some more obscure stuff, like the Satellaview and a couple other weird add-ons for consoles that nobody seems to talk a whole lot about. Although, thankfully, the Satellaview has been covered more of in the last few years, since Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf at 16-Bit Gems did his big old retrospective on the BS Legend of Zelda games. But I still think that there's a lot of ground to cover in terms of interesting BS versions of games. Oh, what? How did I die in the easiest game imaginable? MLG, professional gamer, at your service. I have to admit, even though this is a kid's game, this is just like, it's an easy to play, relaxing game. And I absolutely love, I love the music in this game. A lot of songs kind of get reused and remixed. This is the one guy you have to look out for. Come on. Do your thing. Yeah, a lot of songs get reused and remixed, but in really, really awesome ways. Well, somebody's spilled the beans in the chat, so I guess I'll talk about it here. Yeah, nobody talks about the Sufami Turbo, and I have one in the mail on the way, and I plan on talking about it some point next year. It'll probably be around early spring towards the summertime or something like that. I'm going to talk about kind of the system, what it is, and then talk about a handful of games, because there are some really interesting games for it. And I want to say it was just only Bandai games. So there's like 1 or 2 Sailor Moon games, there's some Kamen Rider stuff, and some of the Compata Hero games are on there as well. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Sufami Turbo at some point. I got a really good deal on it. I was just talking about Mercari in my video games pickup episode, and yeah, I've been using that a lot more than I have eBay recently, just because shipping from Japan is like $20, and it kills me because it's like, damn, look at all these games I really want that are now going to cost me $20 extra. So yeah, and I got a Sufami Turbo for $15 off Mercari. Alright, well, who's ready to guess some Japanese characters? Or does he let me pass this time? Nope. Yeah, the Car Ranger game. I think I've got it working on, let's see. I got it working on SNES 9X. A version of SNES 9X and OpenEMU. But there's some sort of like SD Ultra Gundam game that I have that looks really cool. I think it's like a beat 'em up that I have not been able to get working on the Sufami Turbo SNES 9X emulation. Yeah, Car Ranger's fun. Yeah, it's an interesting, I mean, it's easy as all hell, but it is a fun game. Kind of like this, just sit around and... Alright, let's guess correctly here. Wrong. Oh, look at this. Oh, I finally got it. Genius. Totally read it this entire time. Get on my level. Surely that's... No? The only part of this game that I truly hate is this. And there's only a couple of these little mini games where you're having to guess Japanese characters. Some of the other ones are super simple. Oh, you want to feel old? You want to feel old, Mason? Stick around on this channel. I'll make you feel real old, according to most of my viewers. Okay, sailboats, maybe zebra. How about curry? Alright, that's curry. Alright, apple. Oh, dad jokes. I am a secret savant of dad jokes when in the right scenario. Fuck! Oh, nice. More Power Rangers, eh? Next scripted videos. Script videos about it. I could drift off into Super Sentai games. Chat, what is the best Power Rangers game? If I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring for Power Rangers and Super Sentai, I gotta say, whichever one is on the NES that basically is just like a cut and paste job of oh, what's the fucking game? Oh, I can't even think of the game now. I'm completely blanking on it. Shatterhand. What is the Super Sentai version of Shatterhand that only came out in Japan? That one's pretty great. And then I gotta give it to, let's see. Oh, nice. I gotta give it to Power Rangers The Fighting Edition, since that's basically like an early version of Gundam Wing and the Stool, which I'll be playing later. And then the one on the side-scrolling beat-em-up for the SNES. That's another personal favorite of mine. It might be Soul Brain. Let's see. People are saying Power Rangers the movie Sega Genesis, followed by Battle for the Grid. I thought Battle for the Grid was like a Spider-Man game for the Sega CD or the Sega 32X. Oh, there's Pac-Man. Alright. Is it Pac-Man? It is not Pac-Man. I'm nailing it. I'm knocking it out of the park with this. This asshole's supposed to let me pass after a certain amount of time. Oh, God. Super Rescue Soul Brain, that's the one. That one's really great. See, you eventually put so many Japanese games into your brain that you just end up... You push all the other names of other games out. You're trying to read these? I can't read any of these. This is the... One of these days I hope to be able to read some of this stuff, but as of now, not gonna happen. Alright. Alright, we're not doing too bad. Okay. My Japanese reading is a non-existent. Damn it, I'm hoping one of these is gonna... Alright, I passed. I think that was enough to pass. Oh no. Ah! Shit! Okay, I think that was enough to pass. Fucking A. If I could get a version of this game without any of these fucking guessing game things in there, it would be the best. Alrighty. Finally, we can continue. Oh, that was close. Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised at how well this game holds up as a kid's game. Like a platform, like it has interesting ideas. So like, there was at least a good amount of thought put into this game, which is really why I reviewed it on the channel. I was like, yeah, you know what? This still has a decent, there's still a decent amount of fun to be had in this game, despite it being as simple as it is. Which that theme will kind of tie into the lost episode of Retro Drew. We'll certainly get around to. Really, the Duolingo stuff is actually really working out for you. I'll have to really look into that. I really should have taken advantage of how much time I've had this year to bite the bullet and get ahead on or get started on learning Japanese, but I just didn't. I guess I took all that time doing video game reviews and putting out 2 albums. But you know, not that that was a waste of my time at all either. Gotta make shit happen. God, this song is so good. I love all the different, like, lighting effects that they add to your character. Oh, wow, I clutched that out entirely by accident. Here comes fucking Flats from SpongeBob. Yeah, I'll do some director's commentary on the episode. I was actually thinking about that. Albums. I'm a musician. I'm a musician on... I'm an audio guy. That is my primary, I guess you can kind of consider it hobby, but also a job. I think we want this one. One of these is a really fun game. Yeah, I guessed right. But yeah, I play in a grunge and shoegaze band called Day Aches. We put out an album, or an EP earlier in the year, in June. But you can probably just type in Day Aches into YouTube, or you can find us on Spotify and all that stuff, if you're into that kind of stuff. And if, I mean, I assume most of you guys are into RPGs. If you love RPG music, I do dungeon synth music as well under my personal Bandcamp, but I think you can find that album by typing Wanderers of Celeste. Galvius Wanderers of Celeste. If any of y'all really want these links and can't find them, hit me up on Twitter or here on... Or hit me up somewhere, and I'll be sure to provide you with links. This minigame is way more fun than it has any right to be. This is the one I always pick, because there's like a pachinko minigame that isn't very fun, and then I don't even remember what the other one is. Because I just play this one every single time. Let's see, can I get a 50? Alright, not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, this will probably be the last level at play of this, and then we'll switch over to some more high-profile games I've talked about on the channel. And I'll probably, well, here, let me ask the chat. Would you all prefer that I play the games for my top 5 reviews on the channel? Would you all prefer that I play the games and talk about them in that format, or play the games, or play some more games, then go to the actual YouTube videos themselves for the reviews to reveal the top 5? I'm cool with either or. I think I'm leaning more towards playing while talking, even though we've seen how well that's gone so far. Let's see, which minigame is this? Oh, good. Easy one. Alright, vote for play. I was gonna mute the videos if I did it that way, but alright, I've got 2 votes for just play the games, you idiot, and I think that'll probably work better as well. Alright, playing it is. Ooh. Let's see, which episode is, or which level is next? We got the snow. Oh yeah, snow level. All right, well, I'll probably play an extra level or so. Yeah, it's a good one. Chat. What is everybody's favorite console? What's everybody's favorite console? I mean, it should come as no surprise that the Super Nintendo is mine. But I don't get to talk about how much I do love the Saturn. Or at least I don't talk about it very much on this channel. Not as much as I should. But what is everybody else's favorite consoles? Love to hear. And in addition to your favorite consoles, name me a favorite game for said console. I'll go ahead and say, yeah, Super Nintendo, my favorite console of all time. Favorite game, Earthbound. Absolutely love Earthbound. I aspire to do a review of it, despite there being a bajillion different reviews of it out there by now. But I think the real thing that's holding me back is that I just don't know if I can find the right words to say about how much I love Earthbound. And also, if we get to the super racist boss. Thanks, Japan. Yeah. Oof, that hasn't aged well. Oh, great, I think I have to... Yeah. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna probably call it here on this game. Let's see here. Maybe do one more game before I get into... Ooh, yeah, let's go way back with this next game. Before I get into the top 5. Yeah, Oh Japan is correct. Let's see, we have I'm on a bit of a Mega Drive thing these days. Got a Mega SG a few months back. Nice, nice. Yeah, see, the Mega Drive is another one, or the Mega Drive and Genesis is another console that it interests me, but I've kind of been dancing around really getting into it the last couple years. Spammer D says probably SNES TMNT4. TMNT4, great fucking game. One I've never beaten. I have not played a ton of that game, mostly because I don't have a lot of friends who are into retro gaming, so I don't get to play it very often. And when I do, it's by myself, or when I force my girlfriend to play it with me, and you know, it's It's definitely a game. I mean, it's definitely made better when I force my girlfriend to play with me. But yeah, some single player TMNT4 is not exactly where it's at. Okay. Thankfully, I don't really have a lot of Sega Genesis fans on this channel. I wonder why. No, I do love the Genesis, but I must admit a lot of Genesis games suffer from what I like to call the Genesis syndrome, which is after you lose your first life, it's game over and back to the beginning, which is like the worst fucking thing. Ooh, 2050 AD. We're not too far away from that one. The future is now. Yes. I'm not the only one who forces my girlfriend to play games. At least according to this chat. Pick up the goddamn controller! Press start! When we beat the game, I'll unlock the chains! Alright. Alright, let's play a little bit of Ito no Kiba. I have not touched this game probably since my review. And when I made this review, I did not have a copy of this game in my collection. And I want to say it wasn't until probably a year later when I finally found a copy for like $25, because this game was ridiculously expensive for how mediocre it is, but seems to be the trend with a lot of Telonets and Riot's games. Because they also did Psycho Dream, I believe, which seems to be fairly rare on eBay, but is kind of common when in Japanese video game stores. Wow, I'm just eating. Oh, I've got a charge that I can do in this game. That's right. But the game seems to be fairly common in Japanese video game stores. I see it all the time in Kid Shoryuken's game hunting episodes. I keep urging him to, hey, buddy, can you pick me up a copy? I'll pay for it and shipping and everything. One of these days. Who knows? Alright, do the charge. The entire game is pretty much a running level. Or at least a walking level. Why? Okay, something's messing up my buttons here. It's not allowing me to do my charge. Unless I'm just not holding it long enough or something. How do you charge again? What's the secret? It's been so long since I've played this game. I have to say, they did start off the game strong with this level, because it's the best looking, and it's the most complete in this game, well, I do think this game has some, is interesting and worth at least playing. I don't know about owning. I have to admit, it is a flawed game. But it was an interesting one to cover. I was really happy to cover it for the channel so early on. This was probably like the third or fourth script I ever produced for the channel. Memory could be wrong. I know I did, it all started with Grind Session, which I still think is a really underrated skateboarding game. At least that game has kind of gotten its due, oh my god, in the last couple of years. Come on. How do I... Okay, I'm getting it to kind of work here. Maybe you have to hold forward when you... Oh good, here comes Arnie. Ah, I'm going to get you! I like that I'm like a robo-police dude, and then just this regular criminal can run just as fast as I can. Because at least all of my other opponents were just robots. Oh yeah. I must admit, this game has some really good music. Like this song right here is definitely bumping with all the synth stabs in it. It's great. Alright. Now that I've kind of reacclimated myself with the controls. Okay. For a second I thought my controller disconnected. take out this guy before. Alright. Take out some of this stuff before it starts shooting at me. Yogging. Get it. I have to admit, the hit sound effect in this game is terrible. It just sounds like static. Alright, forget about it. Shit. Thanks for hanging out, Mellow Gamer. I will see you around. What just happened? Look at that. Mellow Gamer leaves and my stream tries to fuck me up. I see you, Mellow Gamer, being a hacker. But thanks for hanging out, man. Oh my god. There we go. There's the weak spot. Alright, I think we're going to get into the top 5 games. Oh, fuck, there's more to this boss battle, I forgot. I was ready to go. The game was like, no, you're not. I guess maybe there wasn't more to that boss fight. Alright, yeah. This level's not super great, so let's get into the top 5 games. And I think we're gonna start off strong with let's see here. Oh, that's right. It is way down in the S's. Gundam Wing Endless Duel at number 5. I'm going to let this intro play out real quick because it's awesome. Yeah, man, that intro is fucking awesome. I've still never seen Gundam Wing. I've played the shit out of this game. I love it. But I have still yet to see... Still have yet to see the anime. Alright, now we can get into it. So yeah, Gundam Wing Endless Duel. This is definitely number 5 on my... Let's see what options I got here. On my reviews. Yeah, we'll keep it a normal. Who knows, maybe that's a mistake. I haven't played this game probably like a year and a half. It's been a little while. But I think it honestly deserved the spot. Not even because it's like my favorite review. I think this game is just fantastic. Man, is it good. Let's do story mode. This is easily the best fighter on the SNES. Like, I really don't think anything even comes close except for like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, maybe Street Fighter The New Challengers. Start with Wing. I don't remember which character I was best with. Okay, this was the guy I was good with. And you can like shoot at each other from far away. Okay, that's that attack. That's that one. Oh my god. So on top of this just being like one of the best like feeling fighting games, it's very reminiscent of Street Fighter Alpha 2, or of the Street Fighter Alpha series, and that's my favorite version of Street Fighter. Like the controls are just so fluid. Everything feels impactful, so it really, you know, like each hit you land, like the world around you shakes, and bolts fly and sparks fly. You honestly feel like a robot, or you feel like you're fighting a robot. It's great. And the graphics are great. I mean, holy cow! Talk about detail. It's all here. I'm surprised I'm doing so well while talking and playing a fighting game. Uh-oh. Alright, got him. Oh yeah, watch out, it does get really flashy. When I was done editing this review, I watched it back and I was like, oh yeah, it does get kind of epileptic at times, so I ended up having to go back and put in the epilepsy warning at the beginning of it. Just in case. I believe they are the same sound effects. I mean, yeah. So, I think I even talk about it in the review that this game is using an updated version of the Power Rangers: The Fighting Edition engine. Oh, come on. Oh, get wrecked. Also, Mazo, to answer your question, I don't know if Endless Waltz is a 4-episode OVA. It might be. The most... I haven't seen a ton of Gundam. I have only really ever seen the 6-episode OVA that is Gundam Wing... Or, that is Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket. I really like that one. I need to go on and see the sequel to that, which is... 0083. But the other thing that's really, really good about this game is the music. Holy hell. So I don't know why. I just never really took in how good it is when I was first playing the game. But when I went back to listen to the music for the review, I was like, holy shit, all these songs are amazing. Like, there really isn't a bad song on this entire soundtrack. Oh, come on. Oh man, he's wrecking me. This is where I gotta start actually playing and not just mashing. Yeah, pretty much. This is worse than the waterfalls in Doki Doki Panic. And it even flashes for like the supers when you do them. It's ridiculous. I want to say I have another attack that I just can't remember how to do it. Go. If y'all haven't listened to the podcast episode I did on Too Many Casts, where we talked about video game music, I talk more in depth about the music for this game and a bunch of other games. But this is one I bring up as having a fantastic soundtrack where you kind of get, like, listening to these songs is like getting a masterclass in composition. It's really, really good. Oh, no, I walked right into his throw. You son of a bitch. Oh, fuck. I think he just broke my special there. You son of a bitch. Not what I meant to do, but hey, that worked out. I dodged his attack briefly. Fuck. Alright, we'll play a little bit more of this and then move on. Just to be honest, well, I do have some things to say for this top 5 reviews. It's more just kind of a fun thing I thought I could do for the stream. So yes, number 5 is Gundam Wing Endless Duel. Fantastic fighting game, best on the system, in my opinion. It does. This game just, like, it nails everything on every front. Presentation, sound, play. Like, that just felt good. I felt like I just whooped some robot ass. Oh, fuck. I wasn't looking. I was tempted to go turn on my fan. It's getting hot in here. Oh. Stay in the corner. Oh. I wish I could remember how to do specials in this game, but I don't. See, the Tournament Fighters one is a weird one. A lot of people love that game. I have never had much of an affinity for it. I've also never played more than probably 10 to 15 minutes of it. And I think my biggest gripe with that game is the lack of character variety. I mean, you got the 4 turtles, and then you've got, like, kind of 4 no-names and maybe Shredder. Alright, so that is Gundam Wing Endless Duel. I'm going to bring up the next game. And ironically, the next episode, or the next review I want to feature, is one that features many games. But I'm going to bring up probably my favorite of the bunch. Let's see here. Actually, not my favorite of the bunch. Not my favorite of the bunch, but this one I think is going to be easier to play than say, a Tetris Battle Gaiden. But next up is the cheap yet good import games. And what I think I really love about that episode is that it was my first episode back after taking like a 6-month hiatus, because life just kind of caught up to me and I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I was adjusting to, at the time I was adjusting to a new job I had just gotten. And I wanted to come back. Oh, no, let's switch characters. I want to be the Gundam again. Whoa. Hold on. I forgot you have to jump in this game. So I will be Ultraman. And yeah, since I had taken the 6-month hiatus, I was like, all right, well, let me come back and cover a bunch of games. And originally the episode was intended to be like kind of like a how-to get into import gaming, where I was gonna, you know, break down. I was going to talk about a few games, but also gonna break down just kind of like different ways to get into it. Like, you know, modding your console is really easy for the Super Nintendo, and here, you know, here's some different strategies you can take to finding games, and here's some different sites you can go to find more games like this. Here's some of the, you know, the sites I use to find the cavalcade of games that I end up reviewing. But at some point it changed to, oh, let me just talk about cheap yet good import games, because that was going to be a part of it. It was like, all right, well, here's some cheap games you can start your collection with. And I just threw the rest of it out the window. I was like, let me just start with this, because this seems like a far more palatable idea. And I want to also say it was the first video where I adopted the shorter review format and the shorter episode length. And it really worked out well, and the response I got when I came back was, well, thankfully was you know, people were very glad to have the channel back, and it meant a lot to me. And I think that was the point where I think like Jim, Kid Sure You Can, started reaching out and was like, hey man, your channel's really good, keep doing what you're doing, keep it up. And I want to say he shouted me out on Twitter or on his channel or something like that at the time, and got me a whole bunch of new subscribers and new views. So yes, this was kind of like my first video back after not making videos for a while. So it holds a special place for me, and I got to talk about a handful of awesome games. So I'm going to play through the rest of this level. But I also got to talk about Tetris Battle Gaiden, which started out as like one of the first reviews I was ever going to make. I have the script still written and everything, but I was able to kind of crunch that down into the minute and a half or so time I gave it in that episode, and was really happy with how it turned out. And it gave me a chance to finally talk about that. And I want to say actually this game right here was the one that spurred that episode, because I had just gotten it for like $11 or whatever I spent. I was like, yeah, okay, well I can include this one. And then I want to call it Fuwa Panic, but it's Panic in Nakayoshi World was another big game that kind of spurred that, because I had gotten that one months before, and I was like, oh, this is cool, this is interesting, but I don't know if I can really stretch out this game's concept into a full-on, like, you know, 7 to 8 minute review. And that had kind of been lingering on my mind. So yeah, that game, and I got to talk about Papua-kun, which was really cool. That game is really neat. If you have not played Shonen Papua-kun, definitely play that one with the Enix's very awesome platformer with cool RPG elements. And there is a translated ROM for that. I didn't know that at the time, but there's a fan-translated ROM of that game, so you can read all the wacky dialogue and cutscenes that go on and happen in that game. So I highly recommend that version. And, you know, you can pick it up either a reproduction that has been translated or just the original, because they're both fairly cheap, under, I mean, in the $10 to $20 range. You can't make videos into 8 to 9 minutes. Yes, you can. It's easy. You just gotta cut out the fat. I won't say that that's true about every game. Like, I mean, like, listen, if I have a lot to say about a game, I will not, you know, trim it down to, you know, to 5 minutes. If I have a lot to say, I'm gonna say. But I've kind of figured out how to generally sum up a game and all of its wonderful features in a good, you know, 5 to 6 minute video. That's just the format I prefer, you know. Keep making your 10 to 12 minute videos, dude. They're great. Really? TMNT is just a reskin of Street Fighter? I would have to play more of that to see whether or not I would think that's actually true. Does it... Does it play like Street Fighter? I mean, I know it probably plays like Street Fighter since it's a fighting game, but I wonder if it's just... I wonder if it controls that well. I would really have to go back and play a lot more of it. Last time I played it, I felt it was rather mediocre. Oh, fuck. I hate these. I hate this section. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, get in there. Ah. Oh. One thing I don't like about this game is that the music doesn't change. It only changes when you change characters. So you're kind of stuck with the same 4 or 5 songs for same 4 songs for the entirety of the game. Thankfully, the songs are good, but still, it's a minor gripe. Don't worry, we're all forever slaves to the algorithm. I doubt, I highly doubt any of my videos will ever get picked up by the algorithm. I just don't think, I mean, who knows? Maybe they will one day, but I don't know. The algorithm is so random about what it picks up. It'll mostly pick up, you know, like, mostly like weird videos that are short that can trend. That's what I've noticed a lot of. A lot of like 30-second, almost like TikTok style videos, or you know, like TikTok length videos and shit like that. Or weird like science facts videos, or weird experiment videos that, you know, people do in their garage in the middle of Kentucky or shit like that. Just weird shit. The algorithm is crazy. Exactly. There's no rhyme or reason to the games you pick. Same for me. I just kind of pick, oh, hey, I want to talk about this game. And then if I don't get to it in time, my brain's like, well, you know what? We're not going to talk about this one. Let's talk about this one instead. Okay. Holy shit. What is going on here? Uh-oh. Get close here. Alright, got him. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for this game. Alright. So yes, number 4 was cheap but good import games. Next up is kind of a similarly structured video. And for that, we are going to pull out Ushure's Astro Go-Go from the Bad Games I Love video. Once I eventually get to the bottom here. Oh no. Oh, I can just scroll around. No idea. Wonderful. But yes, Ushure's Astro Go-Go. And the Bad Games I Love episode. Yeah, let's go with the normal race. This wasn't really the game that spurred the creation of that episode. I have to honestly give the credit to Aliens Colonial Marines. Because after years and years of build-up of how bad that game was, and me finally getting to play it, and actually really enjoying it, I was like, alright, I've got to talk about this game, but oh shit, rough start. But I have no idea how I'm going to get away with talking about this game on my retro video game show. So I was like, you know what, but I've been teetering on the idea of doing more themed videos like Bad Games I Loved. There's an iteration of that video that exists where it's just me rambling on camera rather than the scripted review style it is. But I rewrote it for the review style, and I absolutely loved how it turned out. And it was really easy fitting together the next 2 games I wanted to talk about besides Alien Colonial Marines, because, like I mentioned in the video, Amagon is a game I've been playing since I was a kid. Since I was a little kid. And, you know, as a kid, you don't realize that garbage is garbage. But, you know, you go back and play something like Amagon years later, and you're like, yeah, this is rough. This is really rough. Why does anybody like this game? But then you're like, oh shit, I like this game. But I can't hate it. I cannot hate that game with all of its crazy charms. And then... yeah, fitting this game in there was perfect, because I was like, oh, well, this thing is kind of the genesis of my channel, because this is the very first game, or the very first, game I ever imported. And it's a bad game. It is not very good. The camera angle and the controls are what absolutely kill it, because you look at this game and you go, damn, this probably plays like F-Zero, and it really just doesn't. But I have so much fondness for this game. This game is like a warm blanket. It's terrible. I mean, you know, it's okay. It is okay. And I've debated giving it a review for years, and Bad Games I Loved was just the perfect opportunity to do that. So there's a lot of nostalgia and heart in that video, and that's kind of why it soars to number 3. That's why it just beats out the cheap but good games. And I must admit, I really, and as you know, as fun it is to poke fun at bad games, I love pointing out little things that are great in bad games. And I have to say that I love a lot of the gimmicks, the racetrack gimmicks in this game. So like this one, for example, these pads that move you faster, awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And the music, well, the sound fonts they use aren't stellar in this game. I think the melodies that they have are really well, even if they don't particularly fit a racing game best. They aren't the best racing game music, but they're just good music in general. Also, pro strat, if you ever play this game, if you get the B power-up like I have there in the corner, which is this barrier, always have it. Just reuse it as soon as you run out, because it'll avoid you from bouncing all over the place like rubber. And it'll also avoid you from being hit by other racers. So I'll probably end up playing through the first cup of this game. Or maybe until I lose a race. But yeah, this was a very, very early game I stumbled upon in my I guess, yeah, my importing career. And there is as a matter of fact, there is a review of this game on my embarrassing old channel. Oh my god, you can pause. I forgot, you can pause the results screen in this game. I was trying to skip it and paused it. And you say that's why your channel isn't retro. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't strictly want to cover retro games, but that is where the majority of my interest lies in gaming, is retro gaming. It's all fun and fascinating to me and interesting. But I mean, I still play modern games, and that's why I like streaming, because if there's a modern game that I particularly want to talk about or something like that, you know, I can pull it up on stream and play it and say what I have to say about it there. You know, even if it doesn't bring in views, I don't care about that. You know, like, playing the games I want to play and talk about is really just for me, and if anybody gets enjoyment out of that, then that's fine. And that's also why I'm leaning into doing more themed episodes where I can branch out from just, you know, Super Famicom imports or that I would normally talk about, and, you know, dip a little bit into other consoles and other games I wouldn't normally suggest on the channel. For example, I have the idea to do an episode all about games I can't play because they're in Japanese. So those are games that kind of strictly go against the rules of my channel of, you know, hey, you don't need to know Japanese to play this. But it would make for a fun episode of like, hey, here's some games I have that I can't really fully enjoy, but I still think are interesting enough that I really want to talk about them. And then also plan on branching out into different things like my favorite video game music as a video and other kind of topics like that that aren't strictly review based. Again, those would be more supplementary content. I don't think those would I don't think I would qualify those as like my month's video. I think I would still probably put out a review, but who knows? It depends on how well I think the video turns out. Yeah, games I wish I could play. Because I have quite a few. I mean, you know what? Perfect example. The Majo Shiko game I just picked up for the Saturn in my pickups video. That's a perfect example of a game I can't play. But I'll be damned if I don't try. Oh, how in depth in the music would I go? I think I would probably talk a little bit about, you know, like compositions, and maybe kind of how it was made. You know, a little bit into that, not so much that it all just sounds like gobbledygook coming out of, you know, a musician's mouth. So I think I would also kind of talk about, you know, oh, why I love it and certain songs that I really enjoy and the nostalgic, the nostalgia that they hold or for me and stuff like that. Again, I think if I were to do a video like that, it wouldn't be too long. It would probably be like a 2 to 3 minute video. Yeah, I have you have some Japanese in-box games that you can't play because they're an RPG. That is like the majority of my boxed game collection. Yeah, that's the majority of my boxed game collection. I have a few here and there that are pretty good, that aren't RPGs. But I mean, if you've seen my collection video, yeah, the perfect example is I have a game called The Last Battle, JRPG. Can't read a lick of Japanese. There's no translation for it. There might be a game facts guide for it. But I picked it up because it was $7 and I like the box art. Same thing kind of goes for, I want to say it's like Reunite. I'm going to forget the entire name. But again, just an entirely, it's almost like a Legend of Zelda style game. With like some weird first-person mech fighting elements in there. It's based on an anime. And again, I got it because I really like the box art and it was really cheap. So I'm not knocking that hustle. Sometimes it's just nice to have some boxed games on your shelf. And, you know, for a certain price, it's like, oh, if I sit down and play 30 minutes of this game, I've gotten my money's worth. This is like the perfect example of the view being bad in this game. Like I'm having, thankfully this game or this level kind of autopilots you when with the bumpers like this when it's facing weird angles, but there are other levels in this game where that does not happen. and you will be racing towards the screen much like this, and it's like, wow, this was a bad idea. Who thought this was good? But I do have to say, I love this game's color palette. I think the graphics are just nice, bright, and cheery, and are a lot of fun. And I love that the ships went for like a kind of Silicon graphic style ship. That really makes them stick out, unlike F-Zero. But F-Zero Grand Prix 2 fixes that, the BS version of that game. All right, and that is going to do it for this game. That's the first cup. So at number 3, we had Bad Games I Love. So let's get to the next one. All right, and next up is kind of my, I would say, my claim to fame review. And that is none other than Melfin Stories. And not only is this just one of my favorite reviews because this game is fantastic, the biggest reason why is because prior to my review, there wasn't a single review on YouTube. Nobody was really talking about this game. Not a lot of people knew about it. And that's kind of the whole... It encompasses the entire idea of my channel, which is to, talk about games that people don't talk about. People have missed out on. And this one was just perfect. And I'm glad I talked about it and bought a copy of it when I did, because this game has gone up in price considerably since I did my review. And to boot, SNES Drunk also covered it, but after me. I beat him to it this time. And I think after his review, the price of this game probably shot up considerably. I would like to think I attribute it to that, unfortunately. So yeah, I think I got my copy for $36, and it now goes for... I was looking like last week, and it's like over $100, anywhere from like $90 to $100 or to like $150 loose, and it's like $400 to $800 for a boxed copy. But this was a video that garnered me a lot of attention. I think is still my most popular video outside of my Dare to Compare on the Tony Hawk's games. But yeah, I think this game, after I reviewed this game, I want to say, like, SNES Drunk, like, I think he even left a comment on the video, and was like, hey, this is a good video, I'm subscribing, good stuff. And I think this is the one that also got the attention of Jimmy Hoppa. But yeah, this game is like flawless. It's so good. It is so good. If you like D&D and fantasy, this is one of the premier SNES games to play that isn't an RPG. Hey, scruffy looking RPG, how's it going, man? Thanks for showing up. I'm a fan of the channel. Speaking of people I like. Haven't been a fan for too long. Speaking of Kid Shriek, and Jim was the one who introduced me to your channel. But yeah, I mean, this game is just so perfect. I mean, being able to block... being able to block, and you can even, like, do flips for no reason, and you have this move where you can swing behind you and it comes into use later into the game. This game is just remarkably well thought out, very well paced, and is actually really, really easy with 2 people. It's a good challenge with 1 person. But it is a breeze with 2 people, and the last boss is a total pushover if you have magic. It's really funny. Oh no. Uh-oh. God, yeah, this is, yeah, it just feels so good. And I love playing as Nora. Let me get her name right, because I fucked it up in the review by calling her Nina for some reason, because I'm a dumb American who can't read. This game ends up playing like a Castlevania game when you play as Nora here. Just gonna go and fuck him up with some fire magic. Uh-oh. And you know what? I think the funniest part of I think the funniest part for me about this game is that now that it's kind of got all this attention and taken off and become pretty much my most popular video, it's worth admitting that I found this game entirely by accident. So a pretty common thing I'll do is just search Super Famicom games on eBay and just scroll through and see what I can find. That's how I find a lot of weird random games. And this just happened to be one I stumbled upon. I think that's kind of the cherry on top of it all. It's just a game I stumbled upon one night on eBay. And I looked up and was like, whoa, this is good. And then looked it up on YouTube and nobody had talked about it. And I was like, well, I know what I'm doing. That's the thing that kind of... I don't know. It's just it's the cherry on top, as I put it. It's the funny happenstance. We're going to go with the grasslands. I do like the woods. Take the easy way out. Because Mama raised a quitter. Oh, no. I hate these harpy guys. I know, right? The best research ever. eBay. It's luck of the draw. Oh, no. No. Alright, magic. Just wipe them all out. I promise this game is not as hard as I'm making it look. I'm just bad at games. Because I'm trying to talk and be entertaining and stuff like that. You know, I just be like that sometimes. I also have to admit that the music is a strong point in this game. God, I love the music in this game. This is a fantastic song right here. I'm pretty sure this is the song I used to start off the video with my montage. It's great. eBay is great for a lot of things. For you know, someone like me who doesn't live in Japan and can't just go game hunting all the time and getting all the best deals. Get rid of all those suckers, get all those points. You definitely want points in this game. I think every 50,000 points you get a extra life. So it is worth kind of sitting around and trying to whip all these little buggers. Oh, you don't want that. That's poison. That's another neat addition to this game. Could be worse. My most hated video here happened in a similar way. Oh, man. I'll take that health. Alright, I kind of forget how... Okay, you operate like that. Ugh! Uh-oh. Now we'll go ahead and be Nora again. We'll go ahead and be Twinkle Nora Rock Me again. I think the only bad thing I have to say about after I review games is I tend not to play them as often because I'm kind of like exhausted by them afterwards. In a weird way, it's like, oh good, this game has served its purpose, but don't take that too much to heart because I try and play, especially when I own them. I definitely try and break them out when I have friends out and around, and again, force my girlfriend to play games with me from time to time. But yeah, after I review a game, I tend not to play it as often, with a few exceptions. I mean, this is one I at least tend to break out once, twice a year. Oh, shit. This guy's the worst, because now I have no weapon. I have no home. Okay, he's gone. But still, you gotta dodge these guys anyways. Give me that. I'll take that chicken. See, it's just a Castlevania game in disguise. Chicken from a treasure chest instead of a wall. It's all here. Alright, we'll go ahead and take a look at this monster. Put her in her place. And then we will get to my #1 review on my channel. And play a little bit of that. And then I'll show off the Lost episode, and we will wrap things up. This boss is super easy. You just hold left and occasionally have to jump. Usually her shots don't even make it that far to that side of the screen. But that's the one thing I do like about this game, is that it does start off really well with like easy stuff, and then, you know, you take the hard route and you get a couple of the harder bosses, but everything can be done and beaten in this game with each character. You just have to play them the right way. And each of their strengths and weaknesses do come into play at a lot of points in the game. This is just a finely crafted video game. Again, I've talked about it to death in my video and kind of summed up all the ways and all the ways of how great it is. So let's get to my #1. So that was #2, Melfin Stories, and #1 will probably come as no surprise to many of you, as I constantly reference the game on streams and other such things, and that is Ghost Sweeper Mikami Jorishiwa Nice Body. Man, it's almost hard to even explain why I like this game, because I've said just about everything I have to say perfectly summed up in my review of the game. And this, much like Melfin Stories, this game is crafted perfectly. Natsume knocked it out of the ballpark with this game. It's still, to me, to this day, the finest platformer on the SNES. Beating out the likes of Super Mario Land, or Super Mario World, and I mean, even stuff like Donkey Kong Country and whatnot. So let's play through a good chunk of this. And I think I have this, I've also said this at some point, that if I were to ever speedrun a game, it would probably be this one. Kind of much like Gundam Wing, this game just makes you feel like a badass with the sound effects, like the impact feels good. And the flow is what's really important in this game. It flows perfectly, like, you know, 1 or 2 slashes to an enemy, kind of like a Ninja Gaiden, how that flows really well, but without the frustration, without the cheap and bullshit level design and enemy respawning from Ninja Gaiden. And also it has like a, you know, like well introduced mechanics, like in Mega Man. So right here, you're introduced to the swing mechanic in a place where you cannot get hurt, you cannot die, and it is very important that you learn how to get good at that, because you will need it to pass. I mean, you'll need it throughout the entire game, and it is hyper utilized in the second to last level, where you get a power-up that shoots out platforms that you have to then traverse the entire level with. It's great stuff. Like, it's just intensely well thought out. And again, you have it here, and you can kick that poster and take out that enemy. I could go on and on about this game. The music, my god, the music. Again, I have to say, Natsume's track record for the 16-bit era is not one to scoff at. It is one of, probably, outside of Capcom and Konami, they are easily the best third-party developer of the era. I mean, just hit after hit. And the songs in this game are incredibly catchy. I find myself humming them way more often than I'd like to admit. Probably like once a week, a couple times a month. It's great stuff. This opening level, and level 6 especially, where you're at Bubble Land, I think is what it's called in the show, is fantastic. Like, they're just so full of energy and yet still have this kind of creepy aura to them. It's great stuff. And then, of course, I have to talk about the anime this is based on, which is a fantastic horror and sci-fi, but also there's a lot of comedy in it as well. Lasted 45 episodes, and I want to say it's Hiro Mitsuru, who voices Bulma and a ton of other prolific anime characters, is the voice actress for Megami. Rest in peace. It is unfortunate she has passed away. And if you're ever curious into watching the anime, it is all on YouTube via Toei's Toei Animation's YouTube page. Free to watch. And I would say it is definitely worth it. You know, if you don't want to commit to a 45-episode anime, then check out the movie. That is also really good. So once again, this game does, like, you know, introducing boss battles really well. You start off with, like, really easy stuff like this, and then by the next level, it starts ramping up. Another thing is that you can slash enemy projectiles back into them, like that. Excellent detail. Like, there's a reason why this game is my favorite. And the reason the review is my favorite is just because I just got to say everything I had to say about this game, and it just turned out perfect. It's really, like, all of my blood, sweat, and tears I could pour into that episode got poured into it, and it turned out perfect. So I'll probably play through this next report, and then we'll get to the Lost episode. We'll uncover the Ark of the Covenant and pull out that Lost Retro Drew episode for some for a wonderful, sort of embarrassing time. Again, flow's really nice here, and I think it's exemplified really well here in a level where you're being pushed back by the current. So technically your flow is slower, but they're like, all right, well, how do we make smart with this? All right, fewer enemies, you know, still 1 or 2 hits. Oh, you son of a bitch. Fewer enemies, 1 or 2 hits. A little bit of platforming. So it's kind of like a good, like, warm-up section. And then later on in the game, I mean, there's a good variety of gameplay, because later on you get introduced to the flying, or there's a shooter level where you're flying on a witch's broom, and you have to battle not Dracula, but I'm gonna forget the character's name. That was a close one. You have to fight Peter's dad. It is a wonderful, nostalgic anime style of graphics. And that's another thing I really like about this game. Speaking of the graphics, is that, you know, they're so big and large and bright. And what Natsume did perfectly was like, alright, well, Mikami's got a large sprite. That could lead to, you know, you're a bigger hitbox. So they kind of halved her hitbox. You can... I want to say a good majority of Mikami's head is not actually part of her hitbox. It helps even the playing field. Like right there, that bat probably should have hit me. It would have in like a Ninja Gaiden or just about any other game, but no, not here. Smart design choices. It's really the little things that make a game like this really shine. This guy's a problematic one. He can usually take you out. You can get a good pattern where you don't have to stop and wait for those things to come out of the waterfall. I just did not get it, or I didn't go for it. And those cute little things are show up in the second episode. I want to say they're like baby demons. They're baby demons from like a space monster. Look at that. Enemies didn't respawn. Ah, that's great. There was a port for the PC Engine, correct? That is one I've never played. This is the only one I've played. Oh, shit. I'm getting wrecked by rocks and bats from looking at the chat. I want to say the PC Engine one, isn't it like more of a visual story game? Correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, this boss fight is... This is definitely one that puts you to the test. Definitely doable, but it can be tough. Considering I have not played this game in a while, this could either go really bad or really well. I've also heard that the more dolls you take out, the more dolls spawn. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't think I've ever noticed a difference. Okay, that'll suck in the dolls. And it freezes... I forgot that those things... That, freezes enemies temporarily. Yes! Alright. I still got it. Drew's good at video games for once. Alright, let's get through this last report with the giant cat. And this cutscene actually does explain why you're riding the giant cat. It's because you get shrunken down. And it happens in an episode of the anime. Kami gets hit with a, it's like a blow dart and it makes her shrink. Kind of like the Incredible Shrinking Man, but in anime form. What's up, Eduardo? Has the... Well, here's what I like to call cookie dust, because that's really the only thing I can describe it as. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's not something that shows up in the show. A nice detail that the bird flies by in the background before showing up in front of you. It's a nice tell. I want to say, not this one, but this one has the power shot. Yep. It's best if you can keep that. See, look, birds in the background there. That one, if you just stay still, you're good. This is where things can get difficult. Uh-oh, I messed up the timing of that. Oh, shit in the bed here. Alright. Use your thing here, because you'll make yourself invincible. Oh, maybe it was right here. Here was the section where you're supposed to use it. That's alright. And then there's one more section in the level where you typically want to use it that's about to come up. And that's, yeah, right here. Suck up all the birds, make yourself temporarily invisible, and get ready for the boss. And get your nice 2 pieces of cake. Now this is a boss, if you're lucky enough, if you get a good pattern, you can just kind of hammer on him. I'll attempt that. And you can literally just tank him. Luck was with me today. Alright. I think that is going to do it for Ghost Super Kami. And if y'all are ready, I will pull up the Lost Retro Drew episode. I guess before we get into that, real quick, want to say that it is an older, it's a very, very old episode. I want to say it was the 2nd or 3rd script that I put into production for Retro Drew, and I think something happened while I was editing it and something messed up, so all of the video got out of sync of the audio. And at that point I was like, all right, forget about this. I'm just going to start a new review because it was becoming just too much of a hassle, or maybe the file somehow corrupted and I had to kind of go back and remake certain parts of the episode. And after that I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just not going to release this. I'm going to move on to a different review. And I think that review ended up being like Ito no Kiba, or maybe even the F-Zero review. So yeah, this is a very early episode. When I wasn't very good at reading scripts. Yeah, editing isn't great. And all that stuff. So yeah, just be warned. It's some early Retro Drew jank, if you will. Music is probably going to cut out. And we're going to open the window capture. Yeah, y'all get to see me fiddle around with OBS. And really? Alright, I'm waiting to make sure this looks good. Nope, it did not look good when I cropped it into place there like that. Wonderful, thanks. Let's see. Well, we might have to watch it like this. Alright, let's see here. I was having problems getting this thing working in OBS, which is why we're going to do it like this, I guess. Let me know if you can hear it when it starts playing.
To find hidden gems and lost classics to review on this channel, I sift through a lot of average games, most of which leave me indifferent. But every once in a while I find an average game that I keep coming back to for some unknown reason, and in no case is this truer than with Shonen Ashibe. This is Shonen Ashibe Goma-chan no Yuenchi Daiboken, or Shonen Ashibe, as I'll be referring to it throughout the rest of this review. It's a cutesy collectathon platformer released on the Super Famicom in 1992. In Shonen Ashibe, you play as this adorable seal named Goma-chan. I mean, just look at him. Ah, he's too cute. You start off wandering around a hub world where you may choose a level. Your objective in these levels is to hunt down and collect
Audio was
8
was low.
objects.
That should
To
be better.
find hidden
Start it
gems and
over, I'm
lost
just gonna let it play
classics to
throughout
review
this
on this
time.
channel, I sift through a lot of average games, most of which leave me indifferent. But every once in a while, I find an average game that I keep coming back to for some unknown reason. And in no case is this truer than with Shonen Ashibe. This is Shonen Ashibe Goma-chan no Yuenchi Daiboken, or Shonen Ashibe, as I'll be referring to it throughout the rest of this review. It's a cutesy collectathon platformer released on the Super Famicom in 1992. In Shonen Ashibe, you play as this adorable seal named Goma-chan. I mean, just look at him. Ah, he's too cute. You start off wandering around a hub world where you may choose a level. Your objective in these levels is to hunt down and collect 8 objects, then make it to the goal. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You have a headbutt move used to find objects hidden throughout levels in trees, walls, and pillars. Your headbutt move also comes in handy for the occasional block that needs a good head bashing, statue that needs some vandalizing, and basketballs that need a good swallowing. Along the way, you'll run into an array of equally cute enemies. Aw, look at that bear. I just want to give it a hug.
Oh no.
I use the term enemies loosely.
Okay, so apparently footage isn't showing. Oh boy. Let's see. I might just have to give this a proper upload onto YouTube. That's a shame. I was really hoping this was gonna work.
Because this game was made for kids, so no matter how
interesting. Let's see. See, I had it loaded into OBS earlier, but the problem with that was that the audio wouldn't come through in OBS. And I couldn't quite figure out why. That's a shame. Let's see here. Is there any way I can work around that? Not really sure. I'm using OBS. And that was window capture. Let me fiddle around. We're gonna see some interesting stuff pop up here on OBS. Well, that's browser. No, that's probably not quite it. Damn, that's a shame. I was really hoping that the video was gonna work that way. Son of a bitch. All right.
how many times they hit.
Well then. I'm honestly not quite sure how to get this to work then. What an, what an anticlimactic end. Let's see. I'll try throwing it up into OBS again real quick.
To find hidden gems and lost classics to review on this channel, I sift
See,
through
now
a
it shows
lot
up.
of average games, most of which leave me indifferent.
But I
But
can't
every
hear
once
it.
in a while, I find an average game that I keep coming back
Use
to for some
display caption.
unknown reason. And in no case is this truer than with Shonen Ashibe.
Let's give that a shot.
Hit you, you won't die.
Display capture was working? Or was it working when I threw it up into OBS? Here, I'll do
To find hidden gems and lost classics to review on this channel, I sift through a lot of average games, most of which leave me indifferent. But
that is
every
working
once in a
now.
while, I find an average game that I keep coming back to for some unknown reason. And in no case is this truer than with Shonen Ashibe. This is Shonen Ashibe Goma-chan no Yuenchi Daiboken, or Shonen Ashibe, as I'll be referring to it throughout the rest of this review. It's a cutesy collectathon platformer released on the Super Famicom in 1992. In Shonen Ashibe, you play as this adorable seal named Goma-chan. I mean, just look at him. Ah, he's too cute. You start off wandering around a hub world where you may choose a level. Your objective in these levels is to hunt down and collect 8 objects, then make it to the goal. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You have a headbutt move used to find objects hidden throughout levels in trees, walls, and pillars. Your headbutt move also comes in handy for the occasional block that needs a good head bashing, statue that needs some vandalizing, and basketballs that need a good swallowing. Along the way, you'll run into an array of equally cute enemies. Aw, look at that bear. I just want to give it a hug. I use the term enemies loosely because this game was made for kids, so no matter how many times they hit you, you won't die. Likewise, you can't kill them either. The only penalty of hitting an enemy is losing an object you've collected, but you can simply recollect them as they drop not far from you. Actually, there is one enemy that can kill you, the dreaded, adorable little girl. Watch out for her hug of death. There's a little boy too, but he just shakes all of your objects out of you. Oh, and one last thing, you can run out of time and die, but that hardly ever happens. Levels tend to be short and small, although there are some that require exploration and will have you taking branching paths in search of those last 1 or 2 objects you're missing. The platforming is surprisingly decent. In some levels it's very basic, while in others it's a bit more challenging. The variety in level design is what keeps the game from getting stale. You have forest levels, Candyland levels, cave levels, underwater levels, and a few others. My personal favorite are the haunted house levels. We get spooky in here. In between levels, you'll come across people in the hub world who will offer you a mini-game challenge to get extra lives. These help break up the monotony and add a little variety to the gameplay. Bright pastel colors combined with warm, pleasing tones, woven together with large kid-friendly sprites, concoct each level. All of which look great and still hold up. By no means are this game's graphics pushing the capabilities of the SNES, but each level is competently designed. Details like the northern lights in the ice stages, fog in the haunted house stages, and ruins in the underwater stages are all nice touches which add to the charm. The controls feel smooth and work fine, but do have some faults worth bringing up. One complaint is that Goma-chan moves sluggishly through the levels, so you may find yourself mashing the headbutt move to speed things up, but watch out for trees and pillars or else you'll smash right into them, stopping you dead in your tracks. Another complaint is the jump. It's your only line of defense against enemies, but you don't always get enough distance to clear them, and end up getting hit. During platforming sections, I had no problem with it. It was only when trying to avoid enemies did it become an issue. Oh, and expect controls to be a nightmare on the ice levels as you slip and slide all over the place with momentum. As a musician and audio production student, game music has always been a big part of the enjoyment for me. Sometimes a game will be bad, but the music is so good that I don't mind its flaws. For this game, that is not the case. The music is bland, uninspired, and completely forgettable. Melodies, while playful, don't get me amped up to do my job. Some left me baffled because they were 10-second loops of a single instrument, while others had no drums. I mean, I know this is a kid's game, but come on, things could be a little more triumphant and adventurous in the music department. Let's put it this way, if you held a gun to my head and asked me to hum a song from Shonen Ashibe if you want to live, I'd be a goner. Before wrapping this up, let me give you a little background on the game. It was actually based on a 4-panel weekly manga by Morishita Hiromi, which was published in Young Jump. It was even popular enough to yield an anime adaptation not once, but 3 times, with the latest iteration starting last year in 2016. Being an anime fan, I watched an episode out of curiosity, and much like the game, it was harmless and aimed at a younger crowd, yet still enjoyable. It even managed to get a couple of laughs out of me, so if anime's your thing, check it out. So why is it that I enjoy a game aimed at small children? Well, I think it's the sheer simplicity of it all. Not all the time do I want to play a challenging side-scroller or bullet-dodging space shooter. Not all the time do I want to deal with the sprawling 12-hour story and strategy of an RPG or the crazy gimmick of a puzzle game. Sometimes I just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy a stupidly simple platformer with little to no consequences after a long day at college or between capturing footage for whatever game I'm currently reviewing. It's mindless pleasure, maybe even a guilty one at that, but at the end of the day, if I get a kick out of playing the game, then so be it. This game is not for everyone, but for those looking to add another decent platformer to their collection and for a low price of about $5, don't pass it up. If you like this episode of Retro Drew,
And there we have, after some technical difficulties, the lost episode of Retro Drew on Shonen Ashibe. That was really weird because I couldn't hear any of it, so I didn't think it was working on my end at first. I'll probably end up giving this a proper upload on YouTube at some point, but I think I'm gonna kind of leave it as just like a nice little extra for people who check out this stream. I feel like I'll probably give that an actual upload if I run out of... If I'm behind for some reason, I'll probably throw it out there as just like a bonus episode. But right now that looks like no time soon. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm going to throw up Go Super Comic just so I have some background music while I outro this stream. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe I've been doing this for 3 years. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out. I guess I'll give you a quick update on stuff I'll be doing in the future. Yeah, I've got some more topic videos coming out, which I've mentioned. So more stuff kind of like bad games I love and cheap yet good imports. More kind of themed stuff like that, but I'll still be doing regular single game reviews. This month's review, by the way, will be out on November 28th at the end of the month. And it'll probably be followed that next week by a new video game pickups episode. And let's see. Oh, keep an eye out on Kid Shoryuken's channel. I'll be appearing on an episode of Shoryuken in, I believe, the next month or so. I just finished the video the other day and got it to Jim. And he said it should be showing up towards late November. So November is really just been a busy month for the channel. Between this pickups video, this stream, this month's review, and the one that's going to come out on Jim's channel. So keep looking out for that. And for Christmas, y'all will be getting a new pickups video and a new themed video with 3 reviews in one yet again. So thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's been a great 3 years. And I'll see you all around. Until then, thank you all. I appreciate it.